Coming in looking extra fresh, swaggerific. There is D. Wade, the man of the hour. His last home game is going to be played tonight at the American Airlines Arena, taking on the Sixers. Griff, you rocking that when you step in?
I'll tell you what, he can have swaggerific because my man Iman Shumpert says I'm swaggalicious.
Ah, very nice. There's Blake Griffin. So far, the Pistons are only 1-5 without him so far this season, but it looks like he's going to play tonight. The Pistons fighting for the playoff lives, taking on the Grizzlies on League Pass tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern. What's at stake in the NBA and the Eastern Conference?
You win, you think everything's great, you know, and you lose and you think that everything's coming down.
We're just got to be ready to go in these next two games. I don't know how much, hanging our heads and feeling sorry for ourselves, or not even that, just, being stuck on this game. I mean, we need to make some changes and correct some mistakes and move forward.
We're trying to, accomplish that goal of getting there. So, you kind of have to get in that mode. That's just giving it all you got. That's what we've been doing.
It's going to go down to the last game, as expected.
Of course, you could be anywhere in the world, but you're right here with us. I appreciate that. Roe Parrish running point, my shooters, the czar, the telestrator, Coach Mike Patello, and our exceptional executive, David Griffin. Two extraordinary men in their own right, very similar to the two extraordinary gentlemen who will probably be playing their last home games tonight, Dirk and D. Wade. It's been a remarkable career for both of the players who have had historic NBA careers. I hate to see these guys walk away, but the time has come, unfortunately.
Well, I think you're talking about two guys that have literally changed the game in different ways. Dirk, obviously, coming over from Germany, has completely changed what we think of as a five in the league. The spacing five exists in this league in large part because of Dirk Nowitzki and the success Dallas had building a championship team around that model. And in a league that is very much about keeping up with the Joneses, everybody had to try to find their Dirk, and unfortunately there's only one of those. And relative to Flash, you're talking about a guard who, from a steals and blocks standpoint, particularly as a shot blocking two guard, really changed the position on the defensive end as much as he did the offensive end. And these are two first ballot Hall of Famers. You hate to see them go out together, but in a way it's fitting they are.
Well, Dirk opened the door and paved the way for so many of the other players who eventually followed him over here, plus helped change the style of play in the NBA. And with Dwayne coming into the NBA, there's still question marks about, can he do this or can he do that? But what he cleared up right away is a heart and a desire can cover a whole lot of other things that perhaps you don't do. Not a great shooter, but he made every big shot he had to make for his teams along the way. Brought his team to the championship level. As you said, I'm going to miss both of them leaving the game.
Indeed, a little bit ironic since these two continue to be connected. Two NBA Finals, they competed against each other. We saw the moment that they had All-Star Weekend. Now, one player is probably going to be retiring. Another player trying to hold on to compete for a playoff spot. And D. Wade definitely has an opportunity to do that. There's going to be a lot of winning that has to take place and some help. So we take a look at what's at stake in the East. Looking at seeds 6 through 8, you see a lot of different scenarios that can take place. So looking at the 6th through the 8th seed, we have a lot of different combinations. So the question I'll pose to you gentlemen, starting with you, Griff, is there a particular matchup that you would like to see out of those teams at the bottom?
Just as a fan, purely selfishly, I would love to see Orlando match up with either Philadelphia or Milwaukee in the first round, just because of the length and athleticism that Orlando team has, the youth they have. Jeff Weltman and John Hammond are very much going to build a team in the same image that they built that Milwaukee team. A lot of those players are there because of those two gentlemen. Their model was length first. And now that they've sprinkled in the elite basketball players, and certainly Giannis became elite that they drafted, I think just to see two generations of Weltman-Hammond players against each other in the Milwaukee matchup would be great. And I think Philadelphia could get pushed a little bit by a team in Orlando that has enough size to battle with Joel in the post with Vucevic, and also has the ability to put some length and athleticism on the floor.
those teams that are all battling down the bottom, each of them I have some kind of emotional tie. I did Miami Heat games for so many years on TV. Then I did Brooklyn Net games on TV for so many years. And then the job that Clifford has done, they were in, they were out, fading quickly, and then worked their way back into the competition once again. Casey, Coach of the Year, gets fired, goes into Detroit, and has them right on the verge of making the playoffs. There's an attachment in so many ways there. And I don't know if I can root for one over the other right now.
Plenty of attachments to teams that coaches have on the East and the West, I take it. So we look at what's at stake in the Western Conference, seeing the different scenarios that could take place as we look at the West. Is there a matchup when you look at the teams at the bottom half of the Western Conference? It seems like you don't know what you're going to get. You hear about, different teams maybe jockeying for position, trying to play certain teams. Is there a matchup that you see, Griff, that you like better in the Western Conference?
Well, I think since the All-Star break, we've talked a little bit here and there on this very set about teams for some reason wanting to play Denver in the opening round. And it's because they're the youngest, most inexperienced playoff team. I think when you look at a potential San Antonio-Denver matchup, that's fascinating. Coach Popovich, Coach Malone, two of the very best, but a very veteran team and a very young team against each other would be interesting.
Yeah, I think it looks to me as if you have X number of teams that want to stay away from Houston. I do what I can to stay away from them. And then other teams that wouldn't mind if they happen to fall into that bracket that matches them up against Denver. And I think people don't give Denver the respect that they've earned with the wins during the regular season. And they're looking at it saying, hey, if we got a chance to get past the first round, that's a team we can beat right there. Let's see if we can get in that bracket.
Definitely want to get in the bracket. And you know what? On the defensive side, he is a rugged rim protector, one of the best, if not the best in NBA. And don't let the smooth taste fool you or burn you. Joining us next is the Pacers' own Miles Turner. He's about to do work. More Game Time coming up.